In the dim golden glow of an upscale New York City restaurant, the soft clink of a silver spoon against a wine glass reverberates, sharp and ominous, like a whispered warning cutting through the air. Christopher Reid, a young millionaire with piercing eyes that gleam with both icy resolve and a haunting loneliness, sits alone at a corner table. Across the room, separated by a few rows of elegantly set tables, stands Emily Carter, a new waitress with hastily tied blonde hair and trembling hands as she polishes a glass. Unbeknownst to Emily, in that quiet, fleeting moment, she has unwittingly overheard a sinister plot that threatens to shatter the empire Christopher has painstakingly built. A chilling whisper from a nearby table slices through the ambiance, cold and merciless as a blade. He must disappear before Friday. Who is orchestrating this dark scheme? Will Christopher escape the invisible scythe hovering perilously close to his throat? And what role will Emily, this seemingly insignificant young woman, play in altering the course of destiny? Join us as we unravel this gripping, heart-pounding tale. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next episode, airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Beneath the amber glow of a penthouse overlooking New York's skyline, Christopher Reid sits quietly, a cold coffee cup in hand. At 38, he's achieved what many only dream of: a global tech empire, skyscrapers bearing his name, and a fortune that awes Wall Street. But as night falls, his success fades, leaving a man weighed by loneliness. A single father, his 10-year-old son, Liam, is the only light in his life. Each evening, as Liam sleeps, Christopher gazes out at the city's dazzling lights, a sharp solitude piercing his heart. He knows his triumphs come at a cost. Hidden enemies, jealous stares, and false handshakes in lavish boardrooms keep him wary. Yet, he never suspected that tonight, in the restaurant where he seeks solace, a dark plot is being spun to end him. Christopher doesn't believe in chance. His life's every move, from coding in a tiny apartment to deals that skyrocketed his company, has been calculated. Tonight, at his usual corner table, his eyes scan the menu, but his thoughts drift to Liam, his son's bright smile during chess games, his curious questions about stars. Unaware, he's watched by eyes filled not with admiration, but with malice. From table 7, a cold whisper cuts the air. Reid can't keep power. He knows too much. Lost in thought, Christopher doesn't sense his fate hanging in the balance. Nearby, Emily Carter moves between tables, her tray trembling with her racing heartbeat. New York once promised her a journalist's life, but reality forced her into waitressing, serving the wealthy in silence. Fragile, with blonde hair tied back and hands wiping glasses with desperate focus, she clings to fading hopes. As she passes table 7, a chilling voice stops her cold. Reid can't keep power. He knows too much. The words root her to the floor. She glances at Christopher, calm yet solitary, oblivious to the danger nearby. Emily's heart pounds, adrenaline mixing fear and curiosity. Her journalism training, with its lessons on ethics, urges action. Yet a quiet voice whispers, "Who are you to interfere? A powerless waitress." She's always avoided trouble, taught by New York that silence ensures survival. But Christopher's image as a devoted father and Liam's radiant smile from news articles stir a pang in her chest. Could she live knowing she ignored a chance to save them? Emily stands at a crossroads. She could keep cleaning. Done. Head down, pretending she heard nothing, as she's done before. Or she could face her fear, entering a dangerous game she doesn't understand. Looking at Christopher, his eyes heavy with unseen burdens, she breathes deeply, clutching her cloth. She doesn't know her next step, but she can't ignore the truth before her. Christopher sets the menu down, his gaze sweeping the busy restaurant, missing Emily's hesitant presence nearby. A vague unease settles over him, the air feeling thick. He orders his usual red wine, but his mind lingers on Liam, on a promised basketball game, sparking a brief smile. That smile fades, replaced by a chilling instinct, like a cold wind through his soul. He doesn't know his fate teeters tonight, or that a nameless young woman, torn by doubt, holds the power to change it all. Morning light streams through the glass walls of a Manhattan office, but to Christopher Reid, the room feels as cold as a winter dusk. He enters his corner office with measured steps, his tailored suit failing to hide the heaviness in his gaze. An anonymous email arrived this morning, its single line chilling. "Be careful, Reid. Friday is your last day." Christopher's lips twitch in a dismissive smirk, brushing it off as a rival's weak ploy. Threats are familiar, born of the envy his success attracts. Yet, as he settles into his leather chair, fingers grazing his phone, a grim instinct tightens his chest. The message, brief as it is, weighs like a blade poised at his throat. Christopher doesn't bend easily. From coding in a cramped apartment to facing lawsuits that rocked his company, he's forged an unyielding will. But this threat feels darker, more ominous. Death aimed at him alone might not faze him, but the thought of Liam, his 10-year-old son with a sunlit smile, sends a sharp pain through his heart. Liam is his only light, his reason for every dawn, his drive to press on. Imagining Liam fatherless or caught in a chaos beyond his control stirs a rare fear, like an icy gust slicing his soul. Across the city, Emily Carter sits in her small apartment, her laptop's glow illuminating her anxious face. The peeling walls and sparse furnishings reflect her stalled New York dream. She came to be a journalist, but reality pushed her into waitressing, serving strangers in silence. The whispers from Table 7 last night. Reid can't keep power. He knows too much. Haunt her, an unshakable echo. With trembling hands, Emily searches Christopher Reid's name. Articles flash up. Youngest self-made millionaire. Inspiring single father. Yet darker headlines lurk. Is Reid hiding secrets? Her heart races, piecing together shards of truth. Who is Christopher Reid, victim or player in this dangerous game? Emily has no answers, but Liam's image, his joyful smile from a video, grips her heart. Picturing him fatherless floods her with helplessness, as if she's at a pivotal fork in the road. She could stay silent, as she's done before, taught by New York that bowing down ensures survival. But something, perhaps her journalism lessons on truth, perhaps Liam's innocence, refuses to let her yield. Emily grips the table, breathing deeply. She doesn't know her next move or if it will matter, but she can't ignore the whispers. On her screen, Christopher's photo shows eyes both sharp and lonely, stirring a faint connection. If she acts even slightly, she might no longer be the nameless waitress lost in shadows. She might reclaim the self she lost in New York. In his office, Christopher twists the silver ring Liam gave him for Father's Day. He rereads the email, searching for clues. Unbeknownst to him, a stranger across the city grapples with fear, holding a key to his fate. He only knows time is running out, Friday's shadow nearing. Deep down, he feels this fight is for Liam, for the light he'll protect at any cost. In the warm glow of an elegant New York restaurant, Emily Carter moves among the tables with practiced ease. But tonight, her steps carry a new intensity, a keen awareness she's never known. She's taken extra shifts, timing them to coincide with Christopher Reid's visits, like a journalist chasing a critical story. Watching him from afar, she notes his rituals. The corner table by the window, a glass of red wine, and a vacant stare as he leaves, as if carrying an unseen burden. These details sear into Emily's mind, driven by an urgent sense that time is running out. And she holds a vital clue. Emily starts noticing what she once ignored. Men in sharp suits with cold eyes, lingering near Christopher's table. They order nothing, speak little, watching him like predators in the dark. One night, pretending to drop a napkin, she overhears a name. Vincent. Her pulse quickens. She recalls an anonymous email, traced by a hacker friend, mentioning Vincent Caldwell, a key shareholder who's publicly criticized Christopher. The name slots into the murky puzzle she's piecing together. Meanwhile, in the skyscraper where Christopher runs his empire, tension thickens. Board meetings, once his platform, now bristle with suspicion. Vincent Caldwell, with a false smile, probes Christopher's strategies, each question a jab at his authority. Christopher senses the encirclement, not just from data or shareholders' glares, but from a gut feeling of danger. Yet he's no stranger to adversity, having built his success from scratch through sleepless, fear-filled nights. He won't let Vincent or any hidden force take what he's earned. Christopher acts discreetly, hiring a private investigation team to track the source of a threatening email. Friday is your last day. The words haunt him, time closing in like a noose. He faces Vincent's challenges with steely calm, a warrior awaiting his moment. But at home, in his stark penthouse, he clings to Liam, holding his son close, savoring the faint scent of his hair, dreading any moment could steal him away. Liam, unaware of his father's fear, offers hugs that ease Christopher's aching heart. In her modest apartment, Emily feels caught between safety and peril. Powerless, she relies on a conflicted heart and growing resolve. She logs every detail, strange men, names, restaurant moments, knowing she's entering a dangerous game. Liam's image, smiling beside his father, fuels her drive. Is Christopher the devoted parent of news stories, or part of the darkness she's uncovering? The truth eludes her, but she presses on, each shift bringing her closer to a costly revelation. Alone, Christopher stares at New York's glowing skyline, thinking of Liam and a promised park outing, a brief smile fading as he recalls the email and Vincent's watchful eyes. He doesn't know a young woman in the restaurant shadows fights for him, holding a key to his fate. He only knows he must shield Liam at all costs. Emily, wiping glasses with shaky hands, doesn't realize each step draws her toward a moment that will test her courage. On Thursday evening, the air in the upscale restaurant at the heart of New York City feels heavier than usual, as if the very walls are holding their breath, bracing for an impending storm. Emily Carter moves among the rows of tables with the caution of someone who knows they're treading a dangerous line. This is her final shift before a day off, and every glance, every motion carries a razor-sharp focus. She's grown accustomed to the dim glow of the lights, the gentle clink of silver spoons against glasses. But tonight, everything feels more vivid, as if the entire world is poised for a fateful moment. As she wipes down table number 7, where the mysterious men once sat, a small, glinting object catches her eye under the lamplight. A USB drive forgotten beneath the table lies there like a whisper from destiny. Emily bends down, picking it up, the icy chill of the metal seeping through her fingertips, sending her heart pounding in her chest. Back in her cramped apartment after her shift, Emily sits before her laptop, the blue glow of the screen casting shadows across her tense face. Her hands tremble as she plugs the USB into the machine, as if she's opening a door to a world she's not yet ready to face. An audio file appears, and when she presses play, the low, chilling voice of Vincent Caldwell fills the room, cold and cutting like a blade. "It's all set. Reed's car won't make it across the Brooklyn Bridge tomorrow morning." A strange raspy voice laced with calculation responds, but the words freeze the blood in Emily's veins. A shiver races down her spine, as if she's standing on that bridge, watching Christopher's car plunge into darkness. There's no time to think, no room for hesitation. She must warn him, but how can someone like Christopher Reed, a millionaire with the world at his fingertips, trust the words of an anonymous waitress like her? She sits there, eyes glued to the screen, her heart torn between fear and a resolve that grows stronger, like a flame flaring in the shadows. Not far away, in a lavish penthouse overlooking New York's glittering skyline, Christopher Reed sits in an armchair, his gaze lost in the puzzle pieces Liam carefully arranges on the living room floor. His phone lights up with a message from an unknown number. "Don't cross the Brooklyn Bridge tomorrow morning. They're targeting you." Christopher frowns, his fingers brushing the screen, a fleeting, dismissive smirk crossing his face as instinct kicks in. He's received too many threats, too many taunts from jealous rivals to take an anonymous text seriously. But when he looks up, catching Liam's eyes, those clear, innocent eyes smiling as he completes a puzzle piece, a fear he's never known grips his heart. It's not just fear for himself, but a piercing pain at the thought of Liam, the boy who is his only light, being swallowed by darkness. Christopher cannot take the risk, not when Liam is here so close he can hear the boy's bright laughter. Without hesitation, Christopher grabs his phone, dialing the private investigation team he hired. His voice is calm but icy, demanding they inspect every vehicle he owns, from the sedan he drives daily to the SUVs rarely touched. He sits there, watching Liam play, but his mind races against time, as if each second brings him closer to an invisible blade. Hours later, a call from the team breaks the silence, the leader's voice trembling as he reports. A small explosive device, expertly hidden beneath the sedan's undercarriage, has been found. Christopher grips the phone, his breath catching. The anonymous message, once dismissed as a prank, now burns in his mind like a warning from fate. He looks at Liam, still engrossed in his game, and a wave of gratitude mixed with fear washes over him. Who sent that message? Who saw the darkness he couldn't? In her apartment, Emily remains unaware that her actions have altered the course of destiny. She sits, eyes fixed on the laptop screen, the audio file looping, each of Vincent's words hammering at her heart. She sent the message using a phone number she found through unofficial means, but she doesn't know if Christopher received it or if he trusts her. She feels small, powerless, like a grain of sand in the storm of greater forces. Yet deep within, a spark flickers. She did the right thing, even if it risks her own safety. She thinks of Liam, the boy with the radiant smile she saw in the papers, and a faint smile crosses her lips. Perhaps, if that boy is safe, every danger she faced was worth it. In his penthouse, Christopher rises, stepping toward Liam. He kneels, pulling the boy into his arms, feeling the small warmth of his son, like a remedy for the fear roaring inside him. He doesn't know that, in another corner of the city, a nameless young woman risked everything to save him. He only knows that, tomorrow, he won't cross the Brooklyn Bridge, and Liam will remain here, safe in his embrace. But in his mind, a question lingers. Who stood between him and the darkness? And why? On Friday morning, sunlight streams through the glass walls of a Manhattan skyscraper, but Christopher Reed's office feels as cold as a winter dawn. The Brooklyn Bridge, his usual route, is empty of his black sedan today. Instead, he stands in his corner office, confronting Vincent Caldwell, whose false smile fueled the storm Christopher barely escaped. His gaze is steely, but beneath it burns a father's fierce resolve, nearly broken by loss. His covert investigation team has unearthed damning evidence, anonymous emails, a USB's audio from the restaurant, and a witness's testimony from his nightly haunt. Each fragment, sharp and unyielding, exposes the plot against him. Vincent, trapped, clings to his arrogance. A defiant spark glints in his eyes, a mocking smile on his lips, as if he holds a final ace. His voice, low and sneering, pierces the air. "Think you're untouchable, Reed?" Christopher remains silent, his strength needing no words. He meets Vincent's gaze, his eyes those of a man who defied death for Liam, his son, his only light. Vincent shrinks, a shadow eclipsed by truth. Christopher's presence, embodying all he's protected, speaks louder than any rebuttal. Across the city, Emily Carter sits in her modest apartment, morning light illuminating a new envelope. Her hands tremble as she opens it, sensing its weight. Inside, a life-changing check and a brief letter. Its bold yet warm script reading, "Thank you for your courage. Pursue your dreams." Unsigned, but unmistakably from Christopher, Emily's eyes trace the words. And for the first time in New York, she feels she belongs. Not for the city's glamour, but for her role in a story of bravery and change. The check is more than money. It's proof she chose rightly. She recalls sending the warning message, fear nearly stopping her heart, and hearing the USB's recording, the world narrowing to one choice. She acted, a mere waitress, unsure of impact. Now, this letter lifts her doubts like a breeze. Emily smiles, resolve igniting. She'll use the funds to return to journalism school, chasing her crushed dream to tell stories that move and transform, as she did for Christopher and Liam. In his penthouse, Christopher gazes at the waking city, thinking of Liam's laughter over chess. Peace settles within him. He doesn't know who sent the warning, doesn't know a young woman with tied-back blonde hair risked all for him. But he knows someone's courage kept him here, able to hold Liam, Touching Liam's gifted silver ring, he feels deep gratitude for the stranger and for life's second chance. Emily folds the letter, setting it aside, and looks out at New York's sunlit streets. She thinks of Christopher and Liam, of the journey she joined. She may never meet them, but she'll live boldly now, believing small acts create waves. New York is her home, where she found herself. Christopher turns from Vincent, a fading figure, and steps toward a future with Liam. He's won, not by defeating Vincent, but by staying a father, unyielding to darkness. Emily, elsewhere, begins her path, heart full of hope and a revived dream. A month later, the radiant stage lights of New York's grandest tech conference bathe Christopher Reid in a golden glow, a man who once stood on the precipice of life and death. He stands there, clad in a dark suit, his eyes sharp yet warm, as if every trial he has overcome has forged a new version of himself. The crowd below, entrepreneurs, investors, and souls seeking inspiration, listens in hushed reverence to every word he speaks. Christopher doesn't recount billion-dollar deals or the skyscrapers bearing his name. Instead, he speaks of trust, how it can be as fragile as a thread, yet as unyielding as steel. He speaks of the courage of nameless individuals, those who seek no glory but step forward to alter fate. And above all, he speaks of a father's love, the force that pulled him from darkness and gave him a reason to keep fighting. As he finishes, the auditorium rises, applause crashing like waves. But Christopher's mind is elsewhere. His gaze seeks the front row, where Liam sits, the 10-year-old boy with a smile as bright as summer sunlight. Liam waves, his eyes sparkling with pride. And in that moment, Christopher feels a profound peace. He realizes his greatest wealth isn't the numbers in his bank account, or the power that makes Wall Street bow. It's the simple moments with Liam. The evenings playing chess, the bedtime stories, the tight hugs filled with shared laughter. Everything he fought to protect is embodied in that boy's smile. And that is his truest victory. Far from the stage's brilliance, in a modest office at one of New York's major newspapers, Emily Carter sits before her computer, her fingers dancing across the keyboard with a gentle but fierce focus. Now an intern, she's taken a small but steady step toward the journalist she always dreamed of becoming. Her first article, freshly completed, tells the story of Christopher Reid, not the millionaire with a tech empire, but a father who faced darkness to safeguard the light of his life. She doesn't mention her own role, doesn't speak of the USB, the message she sent, or the nights she trembled in her tiny apartment, wrestling fear to do what was right. She lets Christopher's story shine, with all its simplicity and strength, like a flame warming the hearts of readers. When the article is published, it spreads like a tidal wave, touching millions across America. Readers from Manhattan offices to suburban homes feel the weight of courage, love, and life-changing moments. Emily sits in her office reading their comments, a soft smile blooming on her lips. She knows she's found her path. Not just as a journalist, but as a storyteller, a bearer of light to the world's shadowed corners. Deep in her heart, she feels profound gratitude for that fateful night at the restaurant, when she overheard the whispers and chose not to turn away. That moment didn't just save Christopher and Liam, it saved her, reconnecting her with the dream she thought she'd lost. Christopher, stepping off the stage, kneels to embrace Liam, the boy's warmth, a reminder that every struggle was worth it. He knows nothing of Emily's article, unaware that his story is rippling outward, inspiring millions. He only knows that today, he's still here, still a father, and that is enough. Holding Liam's hand, he leaves the conference, his eyes glinting with a peace he's never known before. New York City, with its bustling streets and towering skyscrapers, is no longer a battlefield. It's home, where he and Liam will continue crafting their story, filled with simple, meaningful days. In her office, Emily closes her laptop, her gaze drifting to the window, where the city's lights begin to twinkle in the dusk. She thinks of Christopher and Liam, of the journey she unwittingly became part of, and a sense of fulfillment washes over her. She doesn't need anyone to know her role, doesn't crave the spotlight or praise. She only needs to know that somewhere a father and his son are living happily, and she helped make that possible. She rises, steps out of the office, and merges into New York's bustling crowds, no longer feeling like a nameless girl. She is Emily Carter, a woman who dared to act, who believed a single moment could change everything. In his penthouse, Christopher sits with Liam, their laughter ringing as they assemble a model train. He looks at the boy, his heart swelling with unspoken love. He doesn't know that in another corner of the city, a young woman is writing stories that will touch the world, or that she was the one who pulled him from darkness. But he senses somewhere in the universe an invisible thread tying him to the kindness of a stranger, a thread that will forever be part of his life story. Emily, back in her apartment, opens the window, letting New York's cool breeze sweep in. She gazes at the sky where stars begin to shimmer, feeling a deep connection to the world. She knows her journey is just beginning, but she's ready. With every story she writes, she'll carry the courage from that fateful night, and she'll keep telling tales, ensuring that lights like Christopher and Liam's never fade. As the sun sets over New York, the city glimmers like a canvas painted with lights and dreams, and the story of Christopher Reid and Emily Carter shines quietly, a small but unquenchable flame. It stands as proof that even in the darkest corners of greed and betrayal, where conspiracies are woven to destroy, there always exist radiant beams of courage and kindness. Christopher Reid, a man who once teetered on the edge of death, not only safeguarded his life and that of his son Liam, but also became a living symbol of trust and resilience. With the heart of a father, he pushed through the shadows to preserve the simple yet priceless light of moments with his son. And in that journey, he touched the hearts of millions, reminding them that true strength lies not in power or wealth, but in love and perseverance. Christopher now is no longer merely the millionaire consumed by numbers and strategies. He stands on the stage of his own life, reflecting on the days when he nearly lost everything, and realizes that every challenge, every fear, was a stone forging the man he is today. He thinks of Liam, of the boy's dazzling smile as they race through the park, and his heart swells with profound gratitude. He knows somewhere in this vast city, a stranger dared to risk their safety to save him, and that anonymous act of kindness has become an inseparable part of the story he carries. Christopher doesn't need to know their name, but he feels their presence, like an invisible thread tying him to the beautiful values of life. His story now is not just about personal triumph, but about how one person can inspire the world simply by living true to their heart. In another corner of New York, Emily Carter, the young woman who once quietly polished glasses under the dim restaurant lights, has found the meaning of her life through a small but powerful act. From an anonymous waitress, her journalistic dreams buried beneath the weight of reality, she has become a storyteller, an intern at a major newspaper where she crafts words that reach the hearts of readers. Her article about Christopher, though silent about her own role, has spread like a wave, carrying a message of courage and silent sacrifice. Sitting in her modest apartment, gazing out at the bustling streets, Emily feels a peace she's never known before. She recalls the moment she picked up the USB, the message she sent in trembling fear, and the letter from Christopher that opened a new path for her. Her act, though a mere drop in the ocean, created ripples that transformed lives, not just those of Christopher and Liam, but her own. Emily knows she doesn't need the spotlight or the world's recognition. The greatest acknowledgement lies within her heart, in the belief that she did what was right, that she dared to step through fear to become part of something greater. She looks up at New York's sky, where stars twinkle against the night, and feels she is no longer the lost girl who first arrived in the city. She is Emily, a woman who has found her path, who will continue telling inspiring stories to ensure that lights like those of Christopher and Liam are never forgotten. This story for her is a reminder that kindness, however small, can change the world, and that every person, no matter how obscure, holds the power to make a difference. The tale of Christopher and Emily is a symphony of courage, kindness, and love, resounding amid life's darkest corners. It invites each of us to look within, to ask, what do we take from these fateful moments? Will we dare to act when faced with a defining choice, or will we turn away, letting fear guide us? This story is not just about a father and a waitress, but about all of us, Ordinary people with the potential to create extraordinary things. Let it inspire you. Let it ignite your belief that within every heart, a spark waits to shine. Share your thoughts, the lessons you've drawn, in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to catch more inspiring stories, airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Together, let's spread these beautiful truths so the world may always glow with the kindness and courage of unsung heroes.